This is my Robin. Say hi, Robin. All right, it's a car. It can't talk. It's dirty. But it can interrupt. It's dirty. I have never washed this car, and in a past life, it was a delivery car for a fish and chip shop. Because of course it was. And during that time, as a delivery car, it had a vinyl wrap all over it, the residue from which is still all over the car. A couple of weeks ago, or months, what is time? I washed, detailed, and ceramic coated my Trabant, and I was super thrilled with the results. The car had never looked better. So I'm going to do the same treatment to this Robin here. Except this time, I'm not going to burn through the paint. Hopefully. This Reliant badge is about to fall off, so I'm going to go ahead and help it along there. Reattach it more firmly when I'm done. Let's see if I can clean this off. Couple more bits of residue back here. This was not a Jesus fish. It was a fish that said "in chips" on the inside. And I don't remember what this was. I want to remove this little grill mesh insert here to touch-up paint it. It's got some blue overspray on it. And in trying to figure out how to remove this thing, I realized something. This nose piece here, aside from the hood and the doors, is the only separate panel on the whole car. Everything else is one piece of fiberglass. So if you have a Reliant Robin, don't get into an accident. For one, you probably won't make it, but also, you can't replace the bumper. It's part of the bodywork. To remove this nose cone, I have to go in from underneath the car where there's a couple of wing nuts. I'll show you. And under the front of the Robin is a lot of nothing. There's a lot of space for wheel, and then around it is a lot of nothing. You might be able to see the wing nut right there. There's another one on the other side right there. And I haven't seen any others just yet, but those two are rusted solid. So excuse me while I struggle. Yeah, there's far more than just those two wing nuts under here, and they are all rusted. A couple things I'm noticing as I'm under here, unscrewing this one finicky nut by hand. One, calling this a bumper is generous. There is nothing behind it. There is no reinforcement whatsoever. It's just fiberglass bodywork. So if you get in a front-end collision, that's it, you're done. And see how the front wheel is tilted to one side? One way or the other. I can't actually tell it from under here. Yeah, it's just like that. There is no way to adjust the camber, I guess you could still call it camber if it's a single front wheel, on that front wheel. It's just attached with two hard points on the frame. It's just like that. Oh my God! Whoa. Da-da-da-da! All right. Wow, that is ugly with the nose cone off. I'm going to put that back on. All right, this grill piece appears to be held in by what looks like 30-old chunks of bubble gum, which is impressive because the car is only 23 years old. Now I just got to chip it away. Hopefully I can get this thing out of here. Okay, after spending about an hour at the yodeling grinding wheel, I removed the majority of the old chewing gum, otherwise known as fiberglass. I extracted the grill, and I removed the two perished mounting studs. Now to source new studs, paint the grill, and move on to literally anything else at all. I don't care what it is. Look, it's this car, but when it had the vinyl wrap, and the nose was still in place. Anyway, this video is sponsored by Avalon King, and they wanted me to let you know that they've got a Memorial Weekend sale coming up, or currently going on, or in the past, depending on when you're watching this video. And with that sale, with each purchase of an Armor Shield 9 kit, they'll throw in a free bottle of IPA prep spray and a free bottle of this prep shampoo. And you get 20% off each additional kit. Now, I gotta admit, when I first opened the box and saw this bottle of prep shampoo, I thought, that's weird. My car doesn't have hair. I'm going to be washing the Robin just like I did the Trabant with a bucket of soapy water and a bunch of microfiber cloths. Only this time I'm not going to be using car wash soap. I'm going to be using the Avalon King Prep Shampoo. And very reassuringly on the bottle it says directions. You really can't mess this up. Add 1 ounce of shampoo per 1 gallon of water. Okay. I'll start with this nose area because it looks like if I don't clean it up soon, it's going to get an infection. Ew. This is overspray. Black overspray. Someone's painted the grill in place. That nose section was by far the dirtiest portion, so now I'm going to do a top-down approach so I can avoid re-lathering parts that I've already lathered. This trim's in good shape. And lastly, this area, which I refuse to call a bumper, on the grounds that it isn't one. Gotta clean off my bollocks real good. Now it's time for my least favorite part. Buffing! How do you feel about making a fool of yourself on the internet? Great, actually. I'm gonna start with this. There's all this blotchy black overspray right here in the Robin's nose hole, and I wanna see if I can buff it out. I probably won't be able to, but I have to at least try, because this looks gross. Wow, that actually worked pretty well. I didn't get into these corners, but I couldn't get into the corners either. Now to buff the rest of the car from the top down. The rain's trying to interrupt me. Just like with the Trabant, I'll be doing the big areas with the Festool Rotex, and I'll be doing all the nooks and crannies with my little Ryobi polisher here. I doubt you can see it on camera, but there's the faint outline of some vinyl lettering. I know that this says London, this said New York. I think it said Rugby after that, but anyway, that's gonna go away after I buff it. Now to wash the car again, to wash off all of this polishing compound I just rubbed all over it. This time I'm going to be using 2 buckets. One with the prep shampoo for the hair my car doesn't have, and the other bucket full of just water. I'm going to take my microfiber cloth, dip it in the soapy bucket, wash off as much polishing compound as I can, and then rinse off the rag in the clean water bucket. I'm sure the clean water bucket will not stay clean for very long at all. Now, by the way, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. I don't know if you're actually supposed to dry buff off the polishing compound, or if you're supposed to wash it off like I'm doing. I'm choosing to wash it off because it's a heck of a lot easier. If I'm doing this wrong, please let me know in the comments. I'm sure if I'm doing it wrong, I didn't need to tell you to let me know that I'm doing it wrong, but let me know if I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure you don't want to see me go through this whole process again, so let's speed things up a bit. It's wet now. Oh God, it's like a booger. Off camera, I washed this thing 2 more times, and I cleaned all the windows, and now this Robin looks better than it ever has in my time of ownership. Save for the missing nose, but we'll get to that. Unfortunately, getting it this clean has revealed something. Any place in this car that wasn't covered with vinyl wrap is incredibly scratched up. You can very clearly see where there was and wasn't vinyl wrap, because outside of the vinyl wrap, it's just straight scratches. Some of them must be pretty deep, because remember, I buffed this whole car and it wasn't enough to take care of these scratches. And somehow, even the back glass is scratched up. Not a little bit, it's very scratched up. So I don't know what this car spent a lot of time doing, but it seems like it was driving through shrubs, or maybe anytime they cleaned it, they did so with sandpaper. Regardless, this thing is scratched up. Am I going to do anything about it? No. As far as I'm concerned, all these scratches are part of the history of this car. And I'm lazy. Now it's time to protect all this clean with Avalon King Armor Shield 9 Ceramic Coating. Armor Shield 9 Ceramic Coating adds a protective hydrophobic layer to your paint, and anything else you apply it to, your windshield, your headlights, your bollocks. That last one only applies to this car. Before I can apply the ceramic coating, I have to wipe down the whole car with isopropyl alcohol. Applying Armor Shield 9 may be tedious and time-consuming, but it's very easy and DIY-friendly. Take the provided applicator cloth wrapped around a sponge, saturate it with the Armor Shield 9 that comes in a fancy bottle. On one section at a time, thickly and evenly coat the surface. Then after it flashes off, lightly buff it with the provided microfiber towel. And that's it. Now I just need to repeat that for the whole car. And it's done! The whole thing is ceramic coated now, and it looks even better than it did after just buffing it. Except for the nose cone. That's still missing. Because I held it back for a demonstration. Half of this thing I coated with ceramic coat and the other half I didn't. And right away, I'm blown away how much better the ceramic coated side looks. I didn't buff any of this, I just washed it, did the IPA wipe down, and then ceramic coated half of it. And it looks a lot better. And by the way, buffing is a totally optional step. On your car, you can just wash it, do the IPA wipe down, and go straight to ceramic coating. I'm just buffing this because they look better. And now, look at that. The uncoated side, all the water just, well, first of all, it looks like someone died in my shop now. But all the water just stuck to the uncoated side and beaded right off the coated side. That is the benefit of ceramic coating. Now to refinish this nose section, I've got my freshly painted grill insert here. It just slots over this. I'm going to attach it just like it was originally with epoxy. I'm just going to use far less of it than was on here to begin with. To sort of tack it in place temporarily, I'm going to use CA glue. Now to permanently affix it in place, I've got some good old JB Weld. Then to replace these old adhesive mount studs, I got some new adhesive mount studs, except these are made from stainless steel, so hopefully they'll do less of this whole rusting, rotting thing. But first I need to grind away this old base so I have a clean spot to adhere these new studs. And to attach it, more JB Weld. Then there's another fastener here that's held on by one small rivet. I'll replace it with another one of these adhesive mount studs, but this time with half of the flange cut off. Unfortunately, the rivet hole doesn't line up, so I'll probably just tack it in place with some CA glue. And that's it. Now I just wait for the epoxy to harden and I can give the Robin the nose job that it so rightly deserves. Oh no, I got a wrinkle in it. Oh God. It's done! Is it perfect? No. I already told you about all the scratches in the paint, but that only scratches the surface. Pun not intended. There's also tons of cracks in the gel coat all over this fiberglass body. The hatch is wrinkled, as in the mold they laid the fiberglass in is wrinkled, and the panel gaps are big enough to hide a body in. Notice half of those things are from the factory. This is an atrociously built car. And that's one of the reasons I love it so much. And huge thanks again to Avalon King for sponsoring this video. You can buy some Avalon King products at the link in the description below this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.